Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in celebrating the 40th anniversary of Airplane, Zaz, David Zucker, Jim Abrams, and Jerry Zucker. Gentlemen, I always feel like the first question I have to ask about this film is how did this get made? But I think we'll start with this was won the WGA for Best Adapted Screenplay, right? Can we talk about how it became how it's an adapted screenplay?
Well, we based it on an old 1957 black and white movie called Zero Hour, starring Linda Darnell, Dana Andrews, Sterling Hayden. And it was one of these things that we used to record movies on our video tape recorder to use in our. To use in our theater. We did a theater called Kentucky Fried Theater, and so we do spoofs of commercials, and so we record the night's old movies on TV, and then see what we pick up. And this, we weren't interested in the commercials, but we started getting fixated on this movie called Zero Hour, which was in black and white. It was so serious, and we thought at the time serious movies were funnier than the comedy at the time. So we thought, we had done redubbings of these kind of movies. We would, where the character would be very serious. Would be saying, one character would say to the other, what time does the plane leave? That's exactly 0800 hours. And we dub in, where is your hand? It's right here at the end of my wrist. And so, but here was a movie where it was like all there. And I think at some point we had the idea, why don't we just remake the movie and recast it with these kind of actors?
There was actually a line from Zero Hour that we saw tonight. It says, we need to find somebody who not only can fly this plane, but who didn't have fish for dinner. So we took that right from... I actually can't tell you another. So we did win an award for adapted screenplay that year in 1980. And we sort of, from the Writers Guild, and we kind of got wind of it ahead of time. So we dressed up like everybody does when they go to those awards, but underneath we had shirts where one guy said, "What a surprise." And so when we went up to accept the award, we took off our regular clothes and there were our undershirts saying, "What a surprise."
So the writing begins with basically the structure 0 hour. Then, how did the writing work?
We didn't know how to write a movie. So this was great. I'll let you answer this, Jerry.
Thank you, David. I'll try to make my remarks briefer than yours. We had no clue about structure, movie structure, just jokes, and we really didn't even learn it after Airplane, as you can see in Top Secret. It has no plot or structure really, but we kind of I think in retrospect realized what a gift this movie was. And also there just can be no better setting for a comedy than an airplane in danger for our kind of comedy, because you can always come back to that real heavy drama.
I thought you were going to say for first-time directors, because basically you had 2 rows of seats facing forward, so there wasn't much blocking.
That was true, but unnecessary information.
Jeez.
did you work as writers for this, though? Did you just get together, or people write?
We did get together.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely got together. We found that helpful.
But was it riffing on each other, or were you writing away from
We would actually, I think, write everything together in the same room. I mean, one of us would come in with a joke that we had thought up, but we didn't go and write separately.
We would watch on the video a scene from 0 Hour, and then we would add in the jokes.
We watch all kinds of film. I mean, not just 0 Hour, but every flying movie and other dramas. It was like stop the tape. What if this?
There's an Airport had just come out, so that was another major influence, correct?
Yeah, there had been a whole decade of kind of mediocre disaster movies, and they all were the same kind of tone, and so we were very lucky to be right in the right place at the right time with the right kind of point of view.
Writing, 3 people get together, but directing, how does 3 people direct a single film?
Oh, well, really, it's not too bad. It's always asking about it, but a lot of things can be done if you really work hard and what happen eventually.
So was there much pushback from the studio, some of these jokes that you were writing?
I mean, it took us, every studio turned it down before we got to Paramount, and they were really great. I don't remember. I mean, there were a lot of hassles, in budget and production and stuff going for it, casting and all that. I shouldn't say hassles, but it was actually the best possible collaboration.
Yeah, they suggested Barry Manilow for Stryker.
But in the end, we worked everything out. It wasn't a problem, and I really don't remember. But I don't remember. Do you guys remember them objecting to any specific lines in the script?
No, I think the Polish Anti-Defamation League objected to one of the jokes that
Which we took out.
Yeah, we took out.
I would have loved. No, it was Air Poland, and the pilot was Jose Feliciano and
Stevie Wonder, and Ray Charles. Yeah.
I would have loved to see Peter Graves reading this script for the first time. He is so good because he's so not the person you would expect doing a comedy. Can you talk about Peter Graves and getting him in the film?
Well, what we heard was that he read the script and he threw it in the trash, saying, "This is the worst piece of garbage I've ever read." And I guess, thinking back on it, actors, when they read a script, they just read their own lines, and it appeared that he was a pedophile. But unfortunately, our executive...
In those days, that wasn't that objectionable, but still. People are so fussy now about everything.
You can't do anything. Yeah. But our executive producer, Howard Koch, called Peter and said, "Peter, before you make your final decision, just come in to the studio and meet the boys," as we were called. And so, we had a meeting with him, and I think we did our own, Wisconsin stuff. And and I think also his wife liked the script, and his daughter encouraged him to do it.
The funniest person ever. I mean, he's funny listening. He's the only person I've ever just laughed watching listening is, of course, the great Leslie Nielsen. Can you talk about your years of working with him and what he was like?
Leslie was great. I mean, and really, for our kind of humor, I think in this movie, it's the best example of how our humor should be done, and you can see Lloyd, Leslie, when he got this script, he just loved it, and he relished the idea of playing it straight and saying these goofy things. And Leslie was kind of an anarchist in a way. I mean, that, his personality, famously carried this fart machine with him all the time, and he loved to walk on elevators in a suit and just press this thing and just sort of see how people react. But
Later on the press tour, we would be in a crowded elevator, and he would do it there. And see people kind of trying to push themselves against the side of the elevator, trying to get out.
Generally, as you would do the fart machine, you would kind of squirm uncomfortably. It is that.
But Leslie, what he could do is he could play it so perfectly straight, but his comic timing is perfect. When he says, "Well, can't you take a guess?" Peter Graves says, "Not for another 2 hours," and then there's just this perfectly timed pause that I don't think we told him.
I told him to do it.
Yeah, no, we didn't use that tape. And then he says, "You can't take a guess for now." I mean, he's just everything. I think he's just on both sides. The being able to play it straight and also be really funny. Lloyd, who I think is great, adds a wonderful texture to the film, but you kind of see he didn't trust the jokes that much, and I don't blame him because he had never seen it before. We were doing a very different thing, but he's just pushing it a little bit.
Right, I was going to say, by Hot Shots, I think he really knew
even
it.
then, I mean, Lloyd was more from the school, "Oh, I'm an actor, so I must have a character." Well, we weren't interested in that. How does he feel about things? We weren't interested in that. We just read the lines and say the joke. And so, in his defense, he really had a taste.
The Marx Brothers would take a film on tour before they filmed it and could find the pauses when the audience was going to laugh. The pauses are there, so how did you guys find those moments where the laughter doesn't trample all the jokes?
We had years of experience in Kentucky Fried Theater, so we were very close to that audience experience.
But we previewed the film a lot. We must have had 8 previews or something. Again, we kept cutting it and refining it to the laughs.
Right. And look, for instance, there's when Kareem is done berating the little boy, he kind of pushes away, and we just hold on that little boy forever. And that was based on the audience reaction. The audience loved that moment.
Was there a scene that was harder to shoot or more difficult than any other, or the dance scene, or anything that comes to mind? Or more fun?
We pretty much were good at everything.
No, I don't think I remember anything that was more difficult.
We moved so fast.
Yeah, we had a time constraint. We had to get it done. We had to get done a certain amount of pages in a day.
I wouldn't say that this was a difficult movie to shoot, really, in any way. I mean, it just partly because the casting was terrific. I mean, we just got perfect people for their roles.
We never had to do a lot of takes. I mean, Julie and Bob just there's just one actor we had a problem with, Al White. No, he's here. I know.
The hell here is Al? Where are you?
Somebody told me
Al!
There he is.
Alan White and Norm Gibbs, the 2 jive guys, came in to read, and they happened to audition together, and because we paired the people, and we had to, in the script, it was really just, Moshe, Shima. I mean, we didn't know. We just wrote some gobbledygook, and we apologized that was the best that 3 white Jewish guys from Milwaukee could do. And, Al and Norm just said, "Okay, can we make stuff up? Can we write stuff?" We said, "Great." And everything in the film, all of their dialogue was written by them.
One of the great things that helps the tone and keeps it, the tension going is the great score in this film. Can you talk about Elmer Bernstein, how that came about?
Yeah, he had done so many serious scores, and we had to ask him to do a B movie score. So he wasn't insulted.
No.
Yeah, so he saw the movie and he laughed all the way through it, even with our temp score. And he went to work, and it was fabulous.
He got it. He totally got it.
I'm going to open it up to the audience for some questions. I know there are a bunch. Right over there.
A couple things. First off, what do you like about the film? Like, I feel like what people like. I love it how like it's 270s because it came like in the era. Like they were just well, I've got the fancy car and draft. Whoever needed a well drafter there, or I kind of feel that adds the charm. Like you tell with like different vibe. It's like this wobbly temporal area where like future decades and before one decade would give way to another.
Within the,
Charm.
what's the question of it?
What was it like? I kind of like the way you handled. What was your favorite partnership with Hayes and Haggerty? I love their chemistry.
He's asking about Hayes and Haggerty and their chemistry. What was it like?
Once again, I think we lucked out there. Julie, we found earlier, and she came in to read in
In New York.
and up till then, our humor is this kind of humor is very specific, and so if an actress tries to make it funny or it's right on it, it's dead, and we're thinking, we're not that funny, really. We're kind of like, oh God. And then Julie came in, and she just nailed it, and was like, we're geniuses. This is great. And she really was just, and you can see in the film, she doesn't let on that she knows she's in a comedy. She is just absolutely, does everything real, and she has such a great personality that's sort of naturally funny, and she's just perfect. I don't know how we really look at
She is that person. She is that character. I mean, she's very sweet, and she didn't have to act her way to it like some of the other.
Well, she played it real. She acted, but she really believed that she was in a play that was in trouble. She was thinking that, and not, oh, this is a comedy, I have funny lines to deliver here.
It's very much like, she's in a movie now called Marriage Story, and she, from my point of view, like saved the movie. And she was very honest and very and very funny. And very much reminds me of her performance in
That reminded me, the test screen, was there a certain screening where you saw it click and you were like, oh my God, they get it, this is going to be great?
Well, there was. I mean, the first screenings of most of the movies that we've ever done have been disasters, and it was no different for Airplane. And it's because you don't know what's going to work, and there's probably 20 minutes in there that isn't funny. So once you cut that out, it plays a lot better because these things absolutely depend on pace. And so the first screening, I think, was on the Paramount lot. And the second screening, after we, cut the picture and made a lot of trims, was at University of California, Davis. And it was that was at a college audience, and it just played great. And then that's the moment we knew, oh, yeah.
until Michael Eisner wanted to do the premiere at Paramount. So we did a big fancy premiere at Paramount, and the projectionist put the reels up out of order. So it went 1, 2, 3, 5. And it's revealing about who the three of us are, how we reacted. I had gone out before the screening with some friends because I was kind of nervous and had a couple cocktails. So when all of a sudden the fifth reel came up instead of the fourth, my reaction was, wow, this is great. We thought we had a pacing problem. This really moves along great.
Well, all these Hollywood premieres are very low reaction. It's not an enthusiastic audience, but only because they're all rooting for you to fail. And so what happened was this gave me, I thought, oh good, we have an excuse as to why the movie played so badly.
And I just ran up to the projection booth, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hardcore, where George C. Scott sees his daughter in a porn movie and says, "Take it off! Take it off!" and the guy says, "What?" I said, "The wheels are out of order." He said, "No, it's fine, whatever." And I just screamed, and so finally he stopped it and put the right reel on. All right, but the thing, one thing was that the wrong reel starts with the shit hitting the fan, and that's what. So then he took that, went a little bit, and he took it off, and then put on the right reel. But then, of course, 10 minutes later, the shit hit the fan again. And people afterwards would say, "I don't think you need to do that joke twice."
Right there.
I want to hear a little bit about Ethel Merman. What was it like getting Ethel Merman?
I was asking about Ethel Merman. What was it like getting her, and how did she react?
I mean, everybody wants to be in a movie, so it was no problem getting her. And but in her contract was that she had to bring her own hairdresser. So that's how she wanted to look. So
It was an absolute treat.
she was very nice.
She was wonderful, and just to be able to see her sing that little bit live was really a treat. Not as much of a treat.
But on the other hand, he was happy having anybody do his hair. Yeah, so that wasn't an issue.
What about Kareem, who's amazing in this film? What was that experience like?
He was fun to hang out with.
We originally wrote the Kareem's part for Pete Rose. Right. But it turns out we filmed during the summer. Pete Rose was playing baseball. This was before Pete Rose was known to be the scumbag he is. So, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. So we rewrote the part for Kareem. Worked out great.
He's great. He's really, he has a shyness but he's really actually a very smart, articulate guy.
Right there.
So, what was your process for, like, when you're putting this together, deciding what jokes stick and what ones you're going to have to leave out?
He's asking about the process of putting together.
2 out of 3.
Oh, you mean the writing?
Yeah. So, how did you guys decide this is good, this isn't? How did you settle disagreements on that?
Well, one of the great things, about writing in a room with other people, and as opposed to alone, is that you get an instant reaction. So when I, thought of the joke, and don't call me Shirley. No, I'm just kidding. But when whoever thought of it,
It was either me or Jim, I can't remember.
and so we obviously got an immediate reaction. And so if we did that, that always worked. I mean, that was our first spontaneous reaction.
We had been really working together for a long time. I mean, starting at the University of Wisconsin, and we just grew to have a tremendous trust in the wisdom of the three of us. And so if I came with a joke and they didn't laugh, I would just, unless I thought they didn't understand what I meant, I just assumed it wasn't funny and we'd go on, and it just went that way all the way through, and really because we had been doing that kind of humor for a while, live on stage and Kentucky Fried Movie, even when we got to the set, we didn't have arguments. It was all problem solving. What's something isn't working. Why? Oh, maybe this, that.
And more often than not, during writing, if somebody came up with an idea and you didn't completely agree, you'd say, well, yeah, but how about this? And how about that? And it would kind of build. And that, to me, that was always the most fun of the whole movie-making process. It's just, how about the first time you laughed, the first time, and actually watching some of the movie tonight, I was thinking that, I remember the three of us sitting in a room together saying, well, yeah, how about this? And here it is 40 years later, and we get to hear people laugh.
And by the way, you guys were a terrific audience. It was a pleasure. I didn't watch the whole movie, but a lot of it, and it was just, it was a real treat.
Did you guys, since you're the directors and the writers, did you write on the set at all? Like, were you, or did you just stick to the script that you had?
We always stuck to the script. There was very little improvisation. I think we can remember the few times when we came up with something. It was like, when the slapping the woman, I think we came up with having a line of people with various weapons. That was bad.
That slap. Leslie Nielsen really slaps her, doesn't he?
She kept saying, yeah, slap me harder. That's what she says.
She said that when we were alone, too, actually.
Right there.
I apologize because I have to get my husband from the airport. But I wanted to ask
Thank you.
about Barbara Billingsley. How did she adapt from being Beaver's mom to talking jive with Alan O'Jackson? Was it difficult for her to pick that up?
Her question's about Barbara Billingsley. How did she adapt going from Beaver's mom to the translator?
Actually, I think, Al, you and Norm worked with her and wrote those lines, too, wrote her lines, too.
Yeah, Alan Norman taught her how to
Taught her, and she's an actress, you know, and
That's my neighbor.
Yeah, I worked with her for 2 hours on it because she was very specific about getting it right. She wanted to get it right. So I had it down and I worked with her for 2 hours and she got it down. The line that she had with, I forget now, cut me some slack, Jack. It was written down, cut me some slack, Jack. And that's how she was saying it at first. And I said, no, you have to congregate it, you know. Cut me some. That's how, cut me some slack, Jack. She had it perfect.
That's great. I have another question right over there.
How difficult was it to shoot at LAX when they couldn't close the airport?
How difficult was it to shoot at LAX when they couldn't close the airport?
I don't remember it was very good.
I don't think they were very accommodating, and really all we needed was a section outside, you know, for the opening, and then it was a TWA, right? Yeah, and if anybody remembers when there was an airline called TWA, and they let us have one of those, but there were a lot of times where they didn't, they didn't close even the section down. People were walking to their flights, and we were, you know, filming a lot of that. I think we had to sort of dub later.
I mean, compared to today, it was a sleepy little airport. It is like there's only one level.
You guys got the actual announcers, right, from the airport at LAX? Is that true?
Yeah.
It turned out those were this couple was a married couple who sold the equipment to the airport. And they did the announcements, and so I think we tried out actors and actresses doing the voiceover. It didn't sound right. So we finally got them.
They were still doing it? It was still their voice when the airplane?
Well, they're not actually there every day doing it. It's a recording. I would have thought that would have been obvious, but they were in a little room. Yeah, it's amazing. They just sit there all day long.
The lines are actually from the novel Airport, from Arthur Hagan's novel. That's where we get the abortion lines. It's all
We're right there in the middle.
Did you write the part of Rex Kramer, or Captain Kramer, with Robert Stack in mind? Or was that kind of...
He's asking if Kramer was written for Robert Stack in mind.
That was a good question. We absolutely did. Yeah, he was the one. We didn't have Leslie, Peter. Or,
He was the only one.
Yeah, he was
that
the
we had.
only one. We really were set on getting Robert Stack, and he was really the hardest one to get. He kept saying, you know, who else? What? Oh, this was early on. One of the first drafts we wrote was in 1975. And we called the agent and we said, we have this, Robert Stack's agent. And
Our agent wouldn't return our phone call.
Go on. We asked the agent, we want Robert Stack to be in our movie. It's going to be called Kentucky Fried Theater's Airplane. And the agent says, is this a go picture? And there's a pause, and we said, what's a go picture? And so he says, call back when you have the money. So that's.
So we did.
4 years later, we did.
Right over there.
Is there any particular reason that you guys were involved in the sequel?
They're asking about he's asking about the sequel, why they were not involved.
Well, Paramount came to us, they wanted us to do the sequel, and we had an idea. And the idea was that Bob and Julie would, they get married, and he brings her home to meet his family, and it's The Godfather. And so I think they took it to Francis Coppola, and he didn't want to do it because he wanted to do Godfather 3. So it turns out they really should have done Airplane 2.
Actually, and to this day, David and Terry and I have never seen Airplane 2. And we always would say, well, look, if your daughter became a prostitute, would you go watch her work?
Hardcore themed here tonight. So you guys were in the film, and members of your family were in the film as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, Jim's mom says, I think the man next to me is a doctor, when Leslie is introduced. And then our mom is the lady who tries to apply makeup.
Now, have you shown Airplane to your kids' family?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all grown now.
But I showed it to my son, Charles, when he was like 1.5. And I don't think he understood much, but his favorite part was the boobies. And so after that, we started watching softcore porn together. It's not what you think. For him, it was food.
Going back out right up there.
Are you guys aware of the influencer kind of remake of Airplane with all the influencers off Instagram? They took your movie and tried to make it.
Are you aware of the influencer version of Airplane?
We're much too old to understand influence. Can you explain what that is?
Logan Paul and a bunch of people that became famous on Instagram, YouTube, made the Airplane movie. It's pretty much a ripoff of your movie. I wonder how you feel about that.
Well, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but my son did send me that poster. I mean, when I could get him away from the porn. So I am aware of it, but I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it other than that.
Right there.
I actually talked to a few strangers today, and we just got to talking about.
Good for you. That's excellent. That's wonderful.
Next question.
And how did that feel?
We all just had lines to each other, and we were cracking up for like 10 minutes, just thinking about this film. And 4 years later, I just wonder what it means to you that something that you had an idea of has become something that's in the DNA of so many people.
He's asking how it feels that him and strangers were laughing at something that they didn't know each other and it was 40 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's always great, and we never really predicted it. I mean, people would ask us, did you think that Airplane would be a hit? And we said, yes, we thought it would be a hit because we had, for 5 years, we were telling people, this is going to be a hit. Do it. Finance it. But what we couldn't predict is that it would last so long. So that's been just a
No,
pleasure.
I don't think we ever, we were like 30-year-old boys. it's not like you're trying to figure out what's going to happen 40 years from now. So to see what's evolved and what's come of it. I mean, I was saying, Jerry and I were sitting together for a while watching the movie, and the feeling, listening to the audience respond, was like everybody was here visiting an old friend.
It's not, nothing's dated. It's all still very relatable. I mean, the coffee commercial spoof, but if they don't know what that coffee commercial now, it's still funny because it's weird.
Because it wasn't it wasn't based on pop culture of the time. It was a parody of a style of acting. Really, and a certain kind of movie that everyone is familiar with and still holds up today. But we really, I think we're quite wise. I don't think we didn't do it for this reason, but to steer away from those. But I still cringe at some of these, Anita Bryant Festival or whatever. It's like, I don't know.
Reagan is topical references.
And there were times, I think, and I did, where we got lucky too. I remember specifically when we saw the Jive, the inspiration for the Jive guys, and we had gone to see a movie called Shaft, 1975, starring Richard Roundtree, and it was a black exploitation movie. And we left the theater and we thought, it was pretty good, and we didn't understand what they were saying. The actors were saying. So we decided to write this stupid white guy interpretation with the subtitles and everything. And then we got to make Airplane. And shortly after it opened, we went to see it with a black audience. Never seen it with a pretty much entirely black audience. And they laughed as hard as the white audience did. And I remember, wow, maybe there's, what they were laughing at, the same thing as the white audience, it's the stupid white people. and it was weird. What I think, again, what we lucked into is that we kind of touched on the tone difference of white America to the whole black experience. And that's why both white and black audiences appreciated seeing those jokes. And that because somehow the white American tone deafness is what comes through.
Right over there in the corner.
Just wondering if each of you have a favorite moment today.
Asking if each of them have a favorite moment in the film.
Well, I think
When we received the first check.
exactly what I was going to say. I mean, the favorite joke is, I always think of when she says, how are you bearing up? And, I'm 26, I'm 26, I'm not married. Yeah, I'm scared, but at least I have a husband. So that joke, and that was also a real collaboration, because one of us came in with the joke, 26 and not married, and then the other ones contributed the rest of it. And that joke was so funny 40 years ago, and it's exactly as funny. It works exactly the same today, and that's become an example of what I think is the perfect style of humor that we want to do.
Interesting that there are 3 jokes in this movie that we loved when we wrote it, hysterical when we shot it, when we saw it in dailies, and never worked in the movie. And that's the watermelon, the spear, and when he throws the cigarette out the window and there's an explosion. And for some reason, particularly that cigarette out the window, we were just laughing hysterically. It just cracked us up. We couldn't wait to see it.
And when I see it today, it's well directed.
Yeah. Never a laugh. And I think what we really learned from it is just unrelated background doesn't work. There's no frame of reference for it. It's just, we just threw something in. there, and it's actually not funny. I don't know why we thought it was so funny.
My favorite is when Captain Over and Peter Graves and Leslie are talking, and he says, Leslie says, Captain, how soon can we land? And Leslie says, I can't tell. Over says, I can't tell. And Leslie says, you can tell me, I'm the doctor. And that was something that my family personally much later, and that's sort of the arrogance, the occasional arrogance of the medical profession.
That's an amazing moment in comedy. It's just a two-shot of them doing nothing but talking to each other. It's one of the funniest.
We call it the mirror scene, really. And because it was done in one take, and we thought this was great. The timing was great. It was what Jerry referred to, Leslie's great timing and putting that little pause in. They just did it wonderfully.
Nor do we cut it. There were never singles.
There was never singles.
It was just two shots.
So either it was going to work, or we had nothing to cut to.
We have time for maybe two more questions, right there in the middle.
Not that long ago, I showed the movie to my 13-year-old daughter for the first time, and it's the first...
Our apologies.
It's the first really classic, hilarious movie that we bonded over, and we throw lines at each other. And I brought her here to see it in a big theater, and she laughed the whole thing. And I don't have a question. I get the chance to say thank you. It's very rare you get to do that.
I will say when you talk about the Tubi body, we have gotten, I don't know, recently, the last 5 years or whatever, we've gotten these letters from people who talk about a parent dying and how they always bonded. Oh, they didn't get, have that much in common, but they bonded over this particular sense of humor. And even in the last days, we're reciting airplane jokes. And so it's like, talk about something you never ever dreamed would happen. I'm not hoping that you're, sorry. But when you do, that may be something that you and your daughter have that you can share that will make the moment so meaningful.
I don't think we ever thought of the ultimate poignancy of these things as we were writing This Shit Hitting the Fan.
All right, we have time for one more. Straight in the back, under the light.
There's two questions about how difficult was it to shoot the special effects with 70s technology and no green screen and models, but also what's the meaning of airplane? What's the meaning of life? What do you get out of it?
He's asking about model effects and what the meaning of life is.
Well, as far as the effects, we didn't know anything about any of that, but John Davison, the producer, and Mike Fidel and all his crew were, did all this stuff, but in terms of the shots of the airplane flying, we loved that it kind of looks like a model, or that it's not so perfect, because that was the style. That was we were doing a B movie, so so that was great. I remember the first time Steve Zucker saw the film, he saw the exterior of the airplane. He said, "It's just hanging."
I thought that was hysterical.
Now the meaning of
airplane?
I hate to answer this question seriously, but I think God, just don't take stuff seriously. We were making fun of a
Don't
stock.
look for meaning in this.
Yeah, don't look. There is no meaning. We go up with this curious style of acting where people took themselves so, these actors, you know, they had 2 speeds, on and off, and they would be so, it was so heavy-handed, and we just said, but that's silly. And so, in a way, if there's a message in that, I guess that's what it is.
What does that mean?
Well, David.
I think your last question, when I was 13, I watched another film called The Naked Gun, which I found, so the only time this ever happened in my life, I was laughing so hard at the Mel Allen scene, I had to get up out of my seat and put my head down because I couldn't keep watching because I knew 10 more jokes were going to kill me. I was laughing so hard. So I just wanted to say that this isn't your only masterpiece. The Naked Gun is also a wonderful masterpiece. And might we ever get anything else from you gentlemen?
We are working on some projects. So
We're still alive.
Still going 40 years later, still one of the greatest films ever made. Airplane. Zaz, ladies and gentlemen.